And so I go to Morgan to see a concert with a friend of mine and to see my friend Kevin Jackson perform. And this was the opening act right here. This wonderful woman, Miss Heather Lloyd, was the opening act, and she captured the audience like that. It was like, whoa, what's this? So it's with great pleasure. She works over at Carver. I don't know much more than that.
I'll explain myself.
Okay, and so here she is, Miss Heather Lloyd.
So I'll tell you right now, I'm more nervous in front of you than I am in front of like festival audiences, because this is my food touching. You know, I teach and I play music, and it's all on the plate. Like, the peas are in my mashed potatoes, and that's weirding me out. That being said, yes, I work over at Carver. Oddly enough, not in a musical capacity. I'm a paraeducator, so I work with students who are incredibly talented, but who need some extra help getting through high school so they can go on to do the thing they're very talented at. So I'm gonna sort of more sing at you today than talk at you per se, and kind of use them as a way to walk you through how I got where I got. I've heard you've had a lot of like college sort of speakers and things like that, and I'm sort of the antithesis of that. Vocabulary word. Good. Oh, you know what antithesis means. We're gonna be friends. It's good. So, I went to school not for music. I went to school for journalism. And I see that some people are wearing t-shirts from my alma mater, which was University of Maryland, College Park. So, I went to school for journalism because I didn't think I could make money as a musician. And I wanted to make my parents proud. And I did really love journalism. And I was doing journalism, and I interned for the Baltimore Sun. And it was amazing, but toward the end of my college career, like so often happens, I went and I played an open mic, and a guy walked up to me in the open mic and said, "You want to be in a band?" And so my life derailed, and that was 15 years ago. And I'm still in the same band, so must be doing something right. So my journalism degree, however, really, really helped me. Songwriting, storytelling. Eventually you get boring. You can only write about your broken relationships for so long. Eventually you have to tell someone else's story if you want a career that lasts more than every broken relationship, although Taylor Swift's doing very well. So, anyway, I'm gonna start off. Everything I play you today I will have written, with the exception of perhaps the last song. And I'm just gonna go into it, and then I'll talk to you a little bit about the songs and all that good stuff. I'm your MC and sound guy today, so if I make a few adjustments, I think it's okay. You go down to the bar looking for a love song. I tell you what you need to see. So come here to my corner, pop a corner in my heart. They were right when they told you to ask for me. 'Cause you've been working hard all day just to let me ease your mind. And honey, singing till 3. When they say let's go, you don't have to go home. Think I've got a song left in me. So if you want me, don't you dare let me go. Make it harder than it has to be. 'Cause I am yours for the asking. I am yours for the asking. I am yours. So come on and ask for me. broken down, and I've been tired, but you set me back on fire. And now that you and I find melody, 'cause I lost all that I loved, and if there is a God above, maybe I can't, 'cause you could ask for me. So if you want me, don't you dare let me go, to make it harder than it has to be. 'Cause I am yours for the asking, I am yours for the asking, I am yours. So if you go down to the bar looking for a love song, I tell you I'm the only one you need. So if you want me, don't you dare let me go, to make it harder than it has to be. 'Cause I am yours for the asking, I am yours for the asking, I am yours. So come on, come on. It's like, oh, it's a little muddy. All right, well, I'm going to take out some of the mids and stuff like that. So I've got handy dandy cue cards. So that's a song, first of all, it's not in a standard tuning, which probably a lot of people picked up very quickly. So the tuning that I'm using there is called Dadgad, D-A-D-G-A-D. It is a D-modal tuning. It's got the root, the fourth, and the fifth. And what's interesting about it is it's often associated with trad, like very Celtic kind of stuff, but it did not actually originate there. It's an African tuning that was brought back by an English guitar player because the drone capable with it allowed them to sort of mimic the sound of bagpipes and stuff. And so that's why it got picked up, and not really until the 60s, as a popular way to do sort of Celtic and Irish music. So it's fun also if you're kind of getting a start with guitar, because you can get a lot of mileage out of minimal movement. Every single thing you put down is pretty when it comes right down to it. And you can change a chord significantly. It's also modal because it's not inherently minor or major. And so you've got a lot of mileage in a tuning like Dadgad. So, for example, Kashmir is in Dadgad. Jimmy Page was a fan. There's a Slipknot song in Dadgad. It's not just for trad. So, go home and try. That would be the one thing today. We're like, oh my god, I'm gonna go home. D-A-D-G-A-D. You tune these three. So, talking about the song itself, I've been performing on the road for about 13 years. And generally speaking, sort of figuring out what worked, what didn't work. I'm gonna play some different instruments today, not just guitar. Other fun things about this. So I wrote this song in 2009, but I rewrote it, or did a major overhaul on it last year, because I'm going in the studio to record, and I went in with people who were significantly better players than I was, which is always what you should do. It is scary as anything to make yourself vulnerable to players who are better than you, but it is the only way you get better. And I had repeated some things I didn't need to repeat. I was really kind of driving some of the lyrics into the ground. He's like, you don't need that. And he like hacked out the bridge. You really need to revoice that chord. Okay, here. And he sat down in front of me and played my song for me after he had heard it once. And I'm like, oh God. But I really like this version. And the idea that years later I would rewrite it and find new life in it goes to show that your songs are kind of always going through revision, and you really are kind of a lifelong student of your craft. It is never really done, even if you record it, it's never really done, remixed to the end of time. So the other thing that's interesting about songs like this, and I'll get real personal today, I have an appropriate filter, so you can ask me anything. It's a very personal song, and you will have fans then that are like, that's my favorite song. And even though it's this horrendous heartbreak thing that happened to you that you now have to get up on stage and play 118 times a year, it's my very favorite song, and thank you so much. And so sometimes it sucks. You don't want to play the hits all the time. There are nights where I'm like, I don't want to play this. So, but I do. So, songs also change meaning with time, and I find new ways to like it. It can mean a lot of different things. It doesn't have to be a relationship song. It can be that interchange between a singer and audience, and people will find what they want to find in your songs, always, regardless of what you intend them to be. And you have to try not to get offended by that, because it's sort of beautiful that anybody finds anything to meet up with in what you write. So I'm going to stay in Dad Gad for a little bit, show you some of the versatility of it. And I'm going to tune again. 1, you're all very warm. And the guitar is going, no! Things I wish I had known when I first started playing guitar. Guitars, good ones, are highly susceptible to changes in weather. So, of course, the first guitar I never owned, what, I have to put a humidifier in it? Huh? Oh, that's why it's buzzing. So, humidifiers in the guitars. Another thing, when I actually taught a guitar class and I changed a string for someone and stretched the string, it was like I gave fire to the people. You're supposed to stretch the strings? Yes, you stretch the strings. That's why your electric goes out of tune when you play really hard. But I actually didn't even start playing guitar until I was 17. I came to it very late. You will already all be better than me right now. And if I could do one thing, I would go back and learn faster. I would learn every instrument I could as quickly as I could. Because now I'm 35, and my synapses are all dried up, and like nothing wants to work.
I hear you, sister.
It's true. I mean, your fingers just don't want to do. And you're like, no, I don't like doing it this way.
How many guitar players are in the room? People that play guitar? There's only a couple. Jordan plays guitar.
How many people are sort of vocal nerds? Do we have like vocal nerds? Okay, we'll talk a little bit about that kind of stuff too. I got things in here for everybody. I got a drum behind me. We're gonna cover it all. No woodwinds. I never did. And man, I will tell you, I played violin when I was in 4th grade, but I was one of those people that would lose my place and I would pretend to play until I caught up. Oh, thank you. I don't feel nearly like I suck as much as I do.
Suzanne, right? Please call the front office.
No. All right, so again, continuing with little bits about me sort of thrown into the songs. So I've been touring, but I also decided that I wanted to have other types of income. I mean, if you want the boring stuff about how if you become a professional musician, you will never file normal, simple taxes ever again. I will teach you about a Schedule C and all that good fun stuff, and recording your mileage and everything else. But I decided that I wanted to have a little bit of insurance coverage and other things like that, and so I was a long-term substitute for 8 years, which was great because I could tour and just set up the jobs around the tours. Oh, you're going out on maternity leave in April? Sweet, see you then. And I'd be out on the road up until then. And so I had huge authority to go and come as I pleased. And when you go into music as any kind of profession, we tend to use the term income mosaic, because you will not make your living playing the club you want to play where every person happily hands over their $15 ticket price. Ain't gonna happen. You're gonna give lessons, you're gonna do session work, you're gonna teach in a school, you're gonna sing at your friend's wedding, stuff like that. And so I chose, because I enjoyed working with students, to substitute teach, and they gave me songs. They didn't know they were, but they did.
Nice.
They don't give you the songs you expect, though. So I had a student, like I said, I work with special education kids. I had a student who's 17 years old, was in a major car crash. Now, I didn't know this about him because I'm a substitute. I'm with you for like a couple of weeks. We don't get deep. We're not getting into that part of your life. You have no left arm, I'm not asking you about it unless you volunteer. But he came in early one day and he says, Miss Lloyd, do you want to see my scar? I'm like, yeah, I do, because when do you get invited into that? Where somebody's like, yeah, check out this gnarly thing, and it's cool. So, you know, he pulls his shirt over, and it's the way, if you can imagine, tomatoes over-ripen and sew themselves back together. Really interesting, beautiful in its way. And he explains to me that last year, when I did not know him, he was in a major car accident, rolled his car into a forest, and took the tree through the chest, severed his arm. And that he was in a coma for the better part of the previous year. And I was sort of like, you're so well adjusted. You know, I don't mean to freak you out or get you worked up, but if I was 17 and I'm down a limb, I would be freaking out a lot more. And he said, I should be dead. For him, it was as simple as that, walking, talking. And he was the first to explain to me that phantom pain was a misnomer. Phantom is anything, like it's the sense that it is there. In his case, it was phantom itching, which amused me. I know, right? That is worse. Because I'm an angsty songwriter and you don't always have fodder, or maybe you don't have the words for what you have, I took his story and I used it to talk about mine. So this was a song called Phantom that I borrowed from him. Very much like F sharp minor, it's a crutch. I swear it's still there. I swear it's still there. At the tips of my fingers, a powerful dream. I want more than hope, twice alive for his soul, for his heart, my own. But as long as I am, I can still feel it in my head. Like the land I lost in a war. I feel I believe to death. They swear there's nothing left, scarred under the skin, spare disfiguring. I should count my blessings. Given, I hear someone needed more. We'll take that again than the one before. He deserves someone dying for his heart. But as long as I can still feel it in my head. Like the land I lost in a war. I swear it's still there. I swear it's still there. At the tips of my fingers, a powerful dream. So a couple of things based on writing. So I want to make the person feel who's listening to it a certain way. You can force that on people, musically speaking. All the lines are weird lengths, so there's inconsistent lengths to all the verses. The hammer-on that's held, the idea of that sort of phantom thing, the kind of whisper in the background of stuff. There's a lot of ways you can sort of do that. And then my own thing, where just like, I want to do this cool instrumental bridge. I don't want to write a bridge. I don't want to write one. And so, and you can hear it coming out soon. You're just too warm. Notice how much mileage you can get out of minimal movement. And so, but yeah, so a student gave me that. All right, so I'm gonna move away from guitar for a second. It's nice to know that we have kind of a mixed bag. I'm gonna, do we have any percussionists in the house? Oh. Very excited percussionists. All right, so the drum that I'm pulling out is a djembe, D-J-E-M-B-E. I always make a joke that I am a DJ because I play djembe. That's the worst joke I'll make all day, don't worry. So one of the decisions I made, because how you decide to perform is another thing. I used to sit to play, especially with drum, because I had a stand that was in front of me. But it's very restrictive, and my band is very mobile. And we have a cello player, but she plays with an electric cello, and she has a harness. The guitar player is very mobile, and I was like, I gotta find a way to get out of this chair. And so what I did was I bought a harness for the drum so that I could move with it. Yeah, drum's pretty heavy. So this is a real African djembe. I need a boom stand. My diva self is like all messed up. It's okay. So this is a real African djembe. This is from the Ivory Coast. It's a goat head top. This is the 4th head that has ever been on this djembe. The first one was covered in blood. My blood. Oh no, it's good. It's my rock star moment. I am not always very metal, but it was a metal moment. So I was helping a friend move a shelf, and I slid my hand down the edge of it, and I cut it. And we were playing at South by Southwest, and I'm like, okay. And so I had like something wrapped around my hand, and I'm like, the second I hit the drum, it's just gonna open the cut. And sure enough, one hit, and it went psh. We made such good tips that day. So I picked up djembe out of necessity. I was playing loud bar gigs, and we really needed something to just rise above the noise. And then I was like, well, I should really try to write some songs that are djembe and vocal, because that'd be a great gadget. Because, you know, and I'm the same way, I can live without another song on acoustic guitar. I'm bored. You go to an open mic night, and it's all guys with acoustic guitars. I'm bored. So one of the easiest ways, and I've won contests this way, was to come in with the drum instead, because it was just something different. So this is a tune that's on, it's fine. This is a tune that's on the CD that I'm working on, where we decided to make it completely percussion. The only melodic instrument on it is an upright bass that's holding down kind of the main line, and then everything else on it is percussion. Djembe, breaths, shakers, all kinds of stuff like that. And the reason why I picked percussion was it was supposed to mimic kind of a heartbeat sort of thing. So this is a song called Good Heart. CDs are free today. They're just 3 songs. It's an EP. It's an actual early pressing. Please take one when you go. I got 1,000 at home, look just like them. So. Oh man, who won't have me as the last of my love? And the bright blue twice down, you won't love. And the heart beats blood, the heart beats blood like a good heart should, like a good heart would. Still some nights it feels empty as different stuff that you can do. I was not a percussionist. Again, I came to this party late. I came late. Drawing my finger across the top of the drum. I was trying to find things like, how can I make this sound like me? Any instrument is an expression of you. How do you make it sound like you? And so drawing my finger across the top of things like that. I also happen to play with a very percussive guitar player, and so I can't be too muddy. I can't be too involved because he takes up a lot of space sonically. So another thing with that, I wanted to sort of write kind of a traditional song that wasn't so traditional, and things that I don't always tell my audience because they don't care. I have a really major blind spot when it comes to the break between my chest voice and my head voice. When I was in choir, I sang first soprano. You hear clearly this is what I did. But the point is that it's like there is this big divide where I don't understand how to cross the chasm. And so I wrote the song because it forces me to break between my chest and my head voice at least 3 times every verse. And so it's an exercise to get me more comfortable with the thing I hate most. And so if you write your own song like that, you're more likely to do it. So that was kind of how I went about it. So I'm going to switch instruments one more time. And the pickup on my uke decided to die last night. Oh, we're very ukulele excited apparently. So normally this would be plugged in. So this one is, here you go, personal stuff. My ex-boyfriend, right when he said, I'm sorry, I don't seem very supportive of your music, bought me this for Christmas and then dumped me. At least I got a ukulele out of it, and that is the musician's guide to breakups. I got a ukulele out of that. This is my severance package. I won. And then I'll write nasty songs about you on it. See, that's the payback. I always tell people want to date musicians. You know, they think we're like, oh yeah, date musicians. You want songs written about you, but you aren't going to like the ones you're going to get. We're going to write what we want, you know, so. But this isn't like that. This is a big, like, departure where I want to talk about the weird ways you make money in music. So one of the weirdest ways you make money in music, and I don't advocate it as a constant thing, are songwriting contests. I was invited to do one, which is kind of a different thing. There's, in the folk community, which is sort of the circle I run in, and the only reason I chose the folk community as opposed to alternative or something else was frankly a monetary choice. They tend to be older people with extra income. They tend to come out to shows in droves. And so it's a very loyal audience, and once they love you forever, and they feel like they discovered you because you're not really famous yet. And so I chose. So I got invited, I knew I had made it, to do this by invitation only songwriting contest that all of the like really good folk writers get invited to do. And it's called the Just This Guy Songwriting Contest because it's just this guy who goes, you write good. Here's the song I'm gonna make you write for me. Dance, puppets, dance. And so every year, it's always something from childhood. So one year it was your favorite childhood toy. The year he invited me, which was last year, it was your favorite childhood snack food. He always includes 5 words that you have to get into the song. The words were eat, sweet, salty snack, and yum. And every year, regardless of the topic, it's extra points if you can somehow fit the word monkey in the song.
What word?
Monkey.
Monkey. Okay.
It's kind of great. So here's the thing. The silliest song you ever write will still require just as much research as the most serious song you ever write. Because I was like, okay, well, the only way I'm going to win is if this just blows all the people I know who are in this contest out of the water. I already knew who I was going to lose to. So I had to make a good showing. So I started doing research about animal crackers because I figured, what's the easiest way I can get monkey into this song? Animal crackers. So little did you know, she says after a month of researching animal crackers, there's a very select number of creatures, and the 100th anniversary addition to the box was a koala. It won over cobra and penguin. This is what I mean. This is the bizarre research you do to write songs to make money. And so I thought, okay, animal crackers, whether it was my favorite childhood snack food or not. My favorite childhood snack food was Cheerios, but I didn't think I could write a monkey song about Cheerios, so I didn't. I wrote an animal cracker song about it. So I decided that if I was going to write a children's song, which is very not me, I was going to make it as...
KP, if you are in the building, please come to the main office. KP,
I was gonna make it as subversive as possible, and that's a word I use a lot for my songwriting. I'm not always comfortable in the folk community. I tend to slip things that are a little metal, or, you know, a little weird, or a little off color into a lot of my songs because I'm not entirely comfortable there. And if I'm gonna write a children's song, I'm gonna write an adult, sort of torchy children's song because I can. So anyway, so this was what won me 3rd place and money. It's called the Animal Cracker Song. I didn't get an invited title. I figured I did enough work. So again, I apologize that the pickup went out yesterday. You may not know how hard it is to break into the snack food biz competition for a couple dozen coveted spots in the lineup of the Animal Cracker Box. How I long to be among all of those famous features. The rhinoceros and kangaroo and elephant and all the creatures. The lions and zebras. I'm just a dreamer. Go ahead and lick me, I'm salty sweet. A perfect compliment crushed up in a car seat. But your crackery criteria's a little funky. Tell me, do you really need a gorilla and a monkey? How I long to see my likeness in a sugary frame, masticating a mammalian menagerie without all the game. My few minutes of fame, but you know it's a shame. Cause no, I never make a neat cookie cutter shape, and I'd confuse a kid or two with me on their plates. But I'd rather get my head bitten off by mistake than be a nobody who went about a dream half-baked. How I long to be a young member of the pack, eating with the sheep and the koala, even with the giraffe. You may just laugh, but you're nobody till someone puts your face upon a tasty snack. But is it too big a wish? Sincerely yours, Mr. Cuttlefish. I was like, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it my way, you know. And now my 4-year-old, my friend's daughter, who's 4, has a whole process by which she's only allowed to eat the appropriate cracker during the song, and in the end she sings Mr. Cuttlefish. I'm like, this is great. I never knew this was gonna work out so well. And I played a blues gig 2 nights ago, and that was the song that they went nuts for. You never know what your audience is gonna be into. So how am I doing on time? I had sort of figured I was going to take like 50 minutes worth of this, and then I was going to let you talk to me for 10. I know people aren't always like very forward with the questions, but you can see that I am very normal and very open. So how are we? We're good. Like, I'm just going to do the thing. Just do the thing. Okay. So I'm going to tune up from this back into standard. And normally I talk a lot and stuff like that, or I have someone else to distract you because it's all very like being a magician. Look at the pretty person over here talking to you. Don't look at me tuning. So anyway, strange things that make you money. So I've played some very weird gigs over the years. I have played a bait shop on the Missouri River while people, you know, push their boats out on the water. I've played Biker Week down in South Carolina. They had an acoustic stage for people with their families to get away from all the noise. That was fun. And probably the single weirdest gig I ever played and will be playing again this summer is a clothing optional folk festival in West Virginia. Yeah, ruminate on that one for a second. Let me just say, these are not the people that you want to see naked. But it will be the least nervous you ever are at any gig ever because the audience is already naked. Don't drop the Sharpie when you're signing CDs. I learned that lesson. I have another one in the car. I'll be right back. But we're going to play it again. And it's funny because, yeah, I mean, you are a performer on stage. You are totally clothed. And the entire hillside is just, you know, shapes. But, so, one of the other weirdest ways you ever make money as a musician, there are lots of teaching artist types of positions. You know, I have a lot of friends who, that's all they do. They go to schools and they are resident teaching artists. We discovered a weird one that folk friends of ours turned us onto, which was a program in the middle of nowhere in Kansas because there was nothing else to do. And I understand if somebody like has to leave, I know I'm like going on, you're not gonna offend me if you get up or something. So they bring in outside talent because there's just nothing. There's nothing there. Someone established an honorarium dozens of years ago to bring in performers, but there's a catch. You have to perform for the high school and for the college. You do 18 45-minute performances in a week. And it has to be a humanities-based music program. So you can't do, here's my take on songwriting for 45 minutes. What we opted to do, because we had some interest in the subject, was gender inequality in murder ballads. And so, yeah, murder ballad, our postscript was like, murder ballads, why does the woman always die? Because it's pretty much the way. I mean, if you've ever listened to, you know, and now it's creepy because my email box is full of people sending me ones where the women don't die. And so it's just like, this is really a weird kind of email thread to have. But I was sort of horrified, whereas like, no, the woman does always die. So in case you don't know, if you're not a songwriting nerd, murder ballads, a ballad is not just a slow song, it is a story song, and a murder ballad being particularly the story of a murder. This was the NCIS of its time, ripped from the headlines. They were taken from the broadsheets. The weirder the better, the bloodier the better. And there are some really, really nasty ones. And so we did a program that went all the way up from kind of the first ones that came over into Appalachia with the Scots-Irish, up to things on the radio right now, because they were like, don't bore them. We're like, what? We did the Rita Ora Iggy Azalea tune, Black Widow, and talked about the origin of the term Black Widow. I mean, like, yeah, and there's videos for all this online if you want to look it up later. But the thing that started it all was I decided that when I wrote my murder ballad, I wanted the woman to do the killing, because fairness. Yes. Wow. We connect on all sorts of weird levels here. So I wanted the woman to do the killing. But and you understand this in other subjects as well, it is very hard to break out of traditional forms. And typically, if a woman in murder ballads does the killing, she is explained away by one of two ways. She is either crazy or the woman scorned. Always explained away that way. And it's really hard to get away from those types of tropes. And so the woman in mine does the killing, but she gets at least to tell her story. And I found the most difficult thing was figuring out how I wanted to kill everybody in my song. You know, the world is your murder oyster. You can kill as you see fit. And, you know, I had an entire legal pad of means of killing the people in my song on a bar at a gig, and I'm like ready to run over by bulldozer, thrown from Ferris wheel. I don't know. And someone looked over my shoulder while I was doing this and went, "What is that?" And I go into this big explanation to save myself, and he turns out to be a fiddle player for a Celtic band. He's like, "Oh, all you had to say was murder ballad. I got you. It's fine. Not going to jail." Killing song. It's the violent video game of the folk world. You're not gonna actually hurt people. It's called Silent Little Bells. You may notice that I do not fingerpick correctly. I will own my bad habits. I did teach Bach and I did fingerpick correctly, but today is not that day. Into a hole in the cold, cold ground on a gray, gray day. Into a hole down, down, soft place for us to lay. I buried us in a secret place. None will go. Bluebells in the field, the only leaf we'll ever know. No church child will ever hold our sad, sad sin. No coin of copper, silver, gold to buy our way. No stone to mark the bitter place where we lie. No stone but my heart's, no one's tears but mine. Can you hear judgment in the trees? How they say will never rest in peace. They will say lies I can never untell. See the only hymns sang for him from silent little bells, silent little bells. I loved a man in the worst of ways. Loved me once, loved me, but he left me with his son. But the sun, he did not rise when it was his time. I begged my love to bury our son. He said it was none of mine. The world had judged me hard for what it did not see. The woman is wrong, but the man, he goes free. So tell me now, for all my pain, can it be a sin for a woman done wrong to do the man done it to that man right? And can you hear judgment in the trees? How they say I will never rest in peace. They will say lies I can never unsay. See the only hymns sang for him from silent little bells, silent little bells. I took my love to an old place on the edge of time. I told him he could take me, take and lay me down. Let him kiss me deep on the edge of a well. I took my lover in my arms, took his boat to hell. Into a hole in the cold, cold ground on a gray, gray day. Into a hole down, down to a place for us to lay. I buried us in a secret place, none will sing. Bluebells in the field, bluebells in the field, bluebells in the field. I don't want to be. Alright, gonna start wrapping up here a little bit. I think I'm gonna do one more original tune and then a very, 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 very short sort of cover to end things off, just to have something fun. How long a what?
Oh my gosh.
No. And that's a great example of people in bars. I have like Vietnam flashbacks if anyone requests Freebird. Don't do it. No one likes that guy. I'm telling you, no one in the bar will like you. So my Freebird story, while I fix this tuning, I played a gig at Charlottesville, right by the college, and the venue owner was very excited. He's like, oh, you'll have like 300 people, and they're all very excited. They were all very drunk, is what they were. Fresh from the football game. And they did nothing but yell Freebird for like 3 hours. And the thing was, we thought we were smart and we're good musicians. Watch us win them over. We mashed it up into one of our own songs. They didn't notice. So they kept yelling it. And our other percussionist who was with us had it. Like, I was used to that kind of thing, but he was not. And he finally got up to the mic and he's like, you know what, bro, not cool. I don't come to your job and yell chicken nuggets, man, chicken nuggets. They were not appreciative of us. But it's fine. I mean, into everyone's life, a little gig of that type must fall. So, like I said, I don't want to talk too much more because I want to give you a chance to talk to me a little bit if you want. I'm not in a hurry today, but I don't know what your schedules are. So, really quickly for the vocalists in here, I haven't talked too much to you, but I'm going to talk to you now. I sing 180 shows a year, and I teach. Talking is far more difficult on my voice than singing is any day. I can sing all day, every day, and it won't make a difference. I have to teach, all day, one day, and I can barely talk the next day. One, you hear that I have some bad tendencies when I drop into that sort of lower register, that vocal fry thing, and that's a cultural thing. Women now in the media speak with a lot of that vocal fry, and it's very hard to get away from that. And you can hear me reminding myself that I should be speaking in a slightly higher register, even though it seems unnatural for me to do so. But it will save you. So in the beginning, when I was playing lots of shows, singing lots of shows, I did not know the kind of damage I was doing to myself. I ate really lousy, I ate late, all that kind of stuff. And I started developing some pain. And I had to go to an olangrologist, which is the one that sticks the scope down and looks to make sure you don't have all the, Adele, Steven Tyler, John Mayer, notey things. And I did not, but what he told me was, so here's the thing. Do you sleep on your side? I said, yeah. And he said, you gotta stop eating after 9. He's like, you're stripping the protective coating off the vocal cord because you lay, and then at night it's kind of just eating it away. And so that's why when they clapped together, I was having a lot of pain. And I had to do 3 days of total vocal rest, like don't whisper, don't laugh, nothing. And it is incredibly difficult to start, and then it's very difficult to stop. I also learned a very useful lesson, which is, if you go to your coffee shop, the same one you go to all the time, you can order your coffee the way you like it without saying anything and no one notices because your conversation goes like this. The usual? Whipped cream on that? That'll be 3 days. No one realized I never talked. So I healed, obviously, and developed better habits. And anytime you have an opportunity to write a song that is not a relationship song, you want to seize that. And so I decided to write a song about my concerns about how I would communicate with people if I did not have this method. And decided that it was very similar to when your car is just completely covered in bird poop, and one person's Pollock painting is another one's car hood splattered in bird poop. Communication's a funny thing. So this is a song called Pollock. Pigeons sit lined up like ellipses on a street lamp, like Morse code. Sparrows are whole notes on the steps strung up between telephone poles. And if they could not sing, could this be their song written out? Could not wing, could they learn to love the ground? Every little bird, a frustrated Pollock, every car hood a canvas, clean and polished. People wash away the art, they just don't understand it. There's a message in the mess, I've been trying my best to decipher. Doing a reincarnation, something lost in the translation. Now an I saw what the car crash stole comes back not quite whole, but full of good intention. The diamond now cold is the beauty trapped inside forever. What will I be born without? The second time around, how will I express my heart? Without hands or wings or song, will it be a prison for my soul? Would it be better to go once alone and not even at all? Pigeons sit lined up like ellipses on a street lamp, like Morse code. Sparrows are homos on the steps strung up between telephone poles. And if I cannot sing, could this be my song written out? And if I cannot win, can I learn to love the ground? Can I learn to love the ground? Can I learn to love the ground? All right. So you tell me, I can do some sort of raucous fun cover thing, and then you guys can talk to me a little bit, or if you want to do questions, you will not offend me since I've kept you a little past 3:30, if I'm reading that clock right. What do you want to do? All right, cover. Okay. You choose your own adventure cover. Would you rather one on guitar or one on drum? That's what I think.
Pick something good. Come on, Samantha. Pick something good.
Thank you guys for being so patient. I know that it's the first day back. Probably everyone got no sleep like I did. So I'm very sympathetic. So the last thing I'll say before, and certainly ask me whatever you want to know, one of the easiest and most frequent ways you're going to make money is the bar gig. The bar gig is the bread and butter of the musician, no matter what you do. Most of the time, I'd say 90% of the time I play what I want. Only once have I ever had to sing something I did not want to sing, and that was at a friend's. No, it was not. Even I like Freebird. I just don't like people who yell Freebird. Twitch.
Trust me, the right.
The only thing I ever had to sing that I did not want to sing was a Josh Groban song at my friend's wedding. But I'll tell you what, musicians, cheaper than a wedding gift. Just saying. So, this, on the other hand, if you're going to do a cover, this is my sort of last sort of statement on when you go on in your lives to do stuff. If you're going to do a cover, if you are doing a cover band and people expect you to play it worshipfully, do it that way. There are a lot of people that make a very great living that way. If you are looking for a cover that will get reposted on YouTube, a million times, you have to make it your own somehow. The easiest ways to make a cover your own are change the key, change the instrument it's on, change the timing, change the picking pattern, pick a male vocalist song if you are a female. Obviously my voice is very low, and so I tend to favor men's songs. And if you're going to do a song that is frequently covered, you've got to change something substantial about it. But every good cover has something that at its core made it famous, the original motif. You have to keep it somehow. And so this is a song where I've kept the original motif, but I put it somewhere else, and I changed the instrument. So. That's a Bill Withers tune, a very frequently covered one. So like I said, I'm not offended if you run out. Anybody got questions you want to ask? I'm an open book. Who's got a hand up? Yes. The band that I play with is called Illy Amy. It stands for I Love You and I Miss You. The benefit of having a terrible band name is that if you misspell it, you still find it. So, I Love You and I Miss You. The video of us doing Black Widow is up there. All kinds of stuff. So. Okay, yeah.
Did you teach yourself the guitar, or did you learn?
I did teach myself, which is why you can see all the bad habits that have stuck around. And then kind of I aggressively sought out players that did something I liked. And I'm like, how are you doing that? How are you doing that? Or you know, how are you stringing your guitar? And so my tendency to let the bass notes drone and to kind of hit them with my thumb came from bass players who showed me things that they had done when they converted to guitar. And so again, would that I could go back and learn. I can do the Bach with the right finger picking stuff. I am slow. So yeah, I taught myself. Yeah. Yes, which was definitely a much more interesting thing because you have to develop totally different calluses for hand drum, and so you know there were lots of blood on the first djembe head, you know, and realizing, wow, I shouldn't hit that part that hard, or you know, you cup your hand on the deep hits to allow space for the sound to kind of reverberate. And so yeah, and like I said, I aggressively seek out people who play the instruments and go, hey, can you show me that? Can you explain that? You know, can you show me how to tighten it myself so I don't have to constantly pay someone to tighten my djembe for me? Things like that. So, it's okay if you want to ask me on your own too. Anybody else? So like, grab a CD, they're free, they got my email on them. So if you do, it's just 3 songs, but you'll hear how some of them have developed. They have, in one case, a 4-part string arrangement, another one is all percussion. So it's got some interesting stuff.
So Miss Lloyd will be working with both Mr. Rowland's guitar classes tomorrow, and she'll be here for my 4th period guitar class.
1, 3, and 4 tomorrow. 1, 3, and 4. Period 1, 3, 4.
1, 3, and 4. If you want to ask questions, guys.
Spanish use
That's some soul.